Hello, and welcome back to Design by Taste, a show dedicated to helping you step out of the fast food world of, well, eating that just makes one feel sluggish and tired and just, it doesn't give you the energy to live the life that you're meant to live. So I'm Marla, your host, and I'm going to be joined by a friend of mine, Morris, and we're going to cook up some great flavors. Actually, we've got quite the treat for you. How many? Well, let's see. Design by Taste, my menu: meatballs, meat sauce, meatloaf, shepherd's pie. So it's all about using ground meat. And then a quiche. For those vegetarians, we can't forget you. And we're going to introduce the mirepoix. So the mirepoix, in French terms, they use a lot of it. It's the starting of everything. It has the flavor when you cook it down. Your celery, your carrots, and your onions. So when we talk about basic shelf at home, a basic shelf is everything that you would keep stocked. So all your baking needs, your flours and your sugars, your spices. Make the mirepoix part of that basic shelf to always have it on hand. Maybe eggs are part of that, always having your eggs so that you can bake, right? So the same type of menu that I had the last time. The protein, ground beef and pork and your eggs. The dairy, the cheese and the milk. Under the starch, we have the breadcrumbs. Now on top of the shepherd's pie, typically you have your mashed potatoes, but I didn't have potatoes in my basic shelf. I had a rutabaga, so I boiled that up and that's what we're using. And then under the veggies, your carrots, your onion, your celery, and then the canned tomatoes of your choice. And then your spices, your ketchup, mustard, Worcestershire, your oil, and your garlic. Oh, I just can't wait to get cooking. And after that, my favorite part, eating it all, enjoying it with friends. But first, we need to go shopping. So I'll meet you at Westfort Foods. And then back to RFDA to start cooking. See you in a bit. Okay, we're at Westfort Foods and we have a small list here because most of it I already have on my basic shelf. So we're here just for some fresh stuff, the meat, some vegetables, breadcrumbs I ran out of, okay? Now we're on to the meats. Smaller portions cost more money. C702 a kg, per kg, versus it's regular ground beef, $6.77. So buy the bigger and freeze it when you get home. Now I like to mix beef with pork, and as you can see, pork is a little bit more than the beef, smaller size. So it's a good price. So we're going to buy larger because we're going to make a few dishes. I'm going to show you how you could cook for one versus cooking for four. Okay, we're at the frozen section and I'm getting tart shells. I like there is a name to this one. I call it the no name, but it's the multi-pack little mini tart shells. I'm going to show you how to do mini quiches and mini shepherd's pie using this really quickly, and it'll taste good. So we're going to make a fresh tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce. I see that there's a sale, so 2 for $3, that would make it $1.50 per can versus $1.89. So I like crushed, I'm going to add to it. If you don't have spices, they have ones with, see, basil, Italian seasoning already in it. But I have my own Italian seasoning. So we have the onion. We have some celery. What it is a mirepoix. In French, it's the onion, the celery, and the carrots. And the mirepoix is the basic starting point for lots of recipes, especially in the French, but I love it for spaghetti sauce. I use it all the time. It's healthy and it just adds more vitamins to whatever you're making. Okay, off to the kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen. I have my friend Morris here.
Hello.
I've met Morris through the pool league. We play on Thursday nights together, and I'm glad that he can make it in the kitchen with me today. And before we get into checking in with Morris and seeing why he's here with me and what he can bring to the table, just a few points I'd like to make for you to make it easier in the kitchen. For me, everything is about making it easier. So before we start, this board for sure is sliding all over the place, so just put a wet washcloth, dishcloth underneath, and it stops it from sliding. I love the phone. Okay, so we've started cooking the mirepoix. Remember I was saying at the grocery store, your celery or carrots, trying to dice them the same size, and Morris is going to cut the onion. And garlic, he's not sure, he says he buys garlic already in the container, so we're going to show you how to do garlic fresh like this to add to this basic mix. So Morris, tell me a little bit about yourself. Can you work and talk at the same time while you're doing something?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The celery. Remember, okay, so for the celery, before you tell about yourself, a lot of people cut this part off. I don't. I just cut the leaves off, and I can see that's a little black there, I guess you can say, so I just trim that up. And then he's going to make a slit down to dice it like that, okay? Using the tip of the knife. Yeah.
Okay, now one more.
Yes. No, that's good.
That's good.
Yep. So you're here with me in the kitchen?
Yeah. I like cooking. I cooked for myself quite a bit for a few years while I was by myself. And I cooked for my family. I had 2 kids. Growing up, I cooked everything. Well, me and my wife split it. So I cooked quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So you know the importance of making it fresh at home?
Yep. Oh yeah. Make it
Versus-
fresh, and then we've always used leftovers. And when I was on my own, I used to cook up everything and make 2 plates, and I'd have 2 dinners made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So put one in the fridge for the next day?
Yeah.
Thank you. And so what we're going to demonstrate then today is cooking. What we're doing can be either for 1 or for 4,
Yeah.
right? So to make it easier, carrots, they say, are one of the most difficult vegetables to cut. So we'll just cut it in half, and you hold it like this. Yeah.
Keep cutting it.
You could press on the knife too. Well, that wasn't very. That's okay. And now I notice you did, to make it quick, hold
Yeah,
it,
just lean it
yeah,
in.
and just use the rocker. Let it
Okay.
rock like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long to cook. Like, one of the main things about getting out of the fast food industry and doing it at home, it does take more time. But once you know how to use a knife, you understand the importance of prepping. Like, you can do quite a bit of this. Stick it in a bowl, like we did, I think, the first session. Put it in the fridge, you pull it out, and it's already done for you. So today we're going to be doing 3 different dishes. It could be 4, but we'll explain it as it goes on. We're going to do some meatloaf. We're going to use the tarts that we bought. Now I have to say something about tarts. I'm finding this one, I haven't bought this brand, and it's a little too thick of a dough for me. There's some that aren't so thick, but I mean, to each its own. So we're going to make mini shepherd's pie using this mixture. And quiche. Okay, so you did that, thank you. Now the onion. Always keep the root on. It holds
really?
it together. Yeah.
Learning something new.
Oh, there you go. That's good. Okay. So you cut the other end off. And again, you can put it, that should be flatter. These aren't my knives, so I'm not. It's good if you can get a knife that you're comfortable using. Always have a grip on it, so no matter what knife you're using, you have a good grip on it. So you've got the root, it's holding. So now you can put the tip in and just press down. Makes it easier to take the outer leaves off, which you don't the tough parts. So do you want to do that side?
Yep.
Okay, now the same thing, you just stick it in and you just press down. So it's not going quite to the end because you've got your root there holding it together. Ooh, this onion's making my eyes go a bit. Excellent, so now you just cut it, try and dice it up to this size so it cooks uniform. Now when you're cutting something, you keep your fingers like this, so when the knife is going down, you aren't slicing your fingers. It's just rocking on. Are your eyes going? Some onions, whoo. Okay, so the first thing, because we have all of this done, we're going to make our spaghetti sauce. We'll take a handful of this and make a fresh spaghetti sauce. So all we're going to do is cook this up until they get a fairly, they still have some crunch to them, but they aren't quite as hard as this. And we'll add, I'll have to do the garlic
yes,
with you.
I don't know.
Do the garlic. We'll add we'll just add the tomatoes. And I said I have my own Italian stuff. Lots of times I'll buy from the bulk store and I'll just mix your rosemary and your oregano, basil. Just make your own mix. Grab a whole bunch of stuff. But this one, I think they did have an Italian at the bulk store, and I'll put them in the jars to keep them fresh. And chili. He's saying he doesn't like heat, but this one doesn't have heat so much, it just gives it more taste. Cayenne would add more heat. Garlic. Now I just bought a whole big bag of it, and so last night you take the whole thing. I only brought a little bit here today, but you take the whole thing and you would just slice the tops, just like that. So see how it's open? You put it in whatever container. If you have a ceramic container, I did tin foil. I just cut a big piece of tin foil, shiny side up, and I put a whole bunch of these like this, and then I sprinkled oil all over it and roasted it in the oven. 375 for maybe 40 minutes. But today, we're going to do garlic for our spaghetti sauce. Good old Italians like garlic, Mexicans like garlic, whatever.
Keeps the vampires away.
Keeps the vampires away, exactly. Oh, sorry, I'm not thinking here as I'm talking. Okay, so what you can do to take the skin off is just press it like that. Takes the skin off and it softens it up for you. I cut this end off, but I've seen a lot of people eat that end. But again, there's the root, so we could have left the root on. Here, we'll do it again with the root, and just like the onion, get a knife that you feel comfortable with. Again, this one. So I cut it just like I did with, see, you can even fan it out just like the onion. Make some slits, keep the root on, and then you just cut it. We're gonna eat the whole thing. And just keep going. I know you can put some salt with this if you want. To give it like a paste.
Oh,
yeah, like you could put salt and then you go like this to make it a paste.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I buy the liquid in the jar already.
Yes.
So it's liquid almost.
Yeah, so that's what you can do. But if you have this and you just want it fresh right there, see how quick that was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to do one to add to the... Yeah.
So I don't have to flatten that anymore.
No.
Right?
Well, and you don't have to flatten it, but
And
it took the skin
root,
off.
So I want to save the root.
Save the root and just, do some slits in it and away you go. And if you find that takes too much time, just start cutting.
You're just going to cut it up anyhow.
Exactly. I like practicing my knife skills though.
And you use the root too? You cut the root?
Yeah, cut it up. So what we're going to do with this mix is we're going to put this carrot, this mirepoix that we did, we'll add some garlic to one for the vegetarians out there. We have two pots. One we're going to make the spaghetti sauce, but I'm adding meat. So if you, for vegetarian, you can just put this in the pot with this and your spices. Add some wine at home if you have some leftover wine. I love adding balsamic vinegar to it. I don't have it here, I'm sorry, but you can leave it out. That's what we're gonna do. My daughter can eat it just like that with some balsamic vinegar added to it. Cook this for half an hour and you're set to go. I'm adding some meat to it, and you can add the meat raw to it and just let it cook until it's all cooked, okay?
Putting that in there.
Yes. Okay, so we have our mix. We'll dump here, because you're going to cook over here, Morris. Going to cook half in there. Yeah. So now we're just sauteing them lightly. Okay, Morris. Now we're making the meat sauce, so I'll get my hands dirty. How about?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I can get them dirty.
I think we're going to cook the ham because we're on a time frame here, and most of us are at home. We'll kind of brown and cook the hamburger with this mix, and then we'll add the tomatoes. This you can freeze easily, so this could be either for a large family right here for one meal, or it'll freeze easily once it's cooked down. With the spices here, I love to incorporate it with the meat so that the meat will soak it up. Put it on the hand and you just give it a rub. It opens up all the oils in the dried.
Ooh.
Yeah. And again, I'm liberal with it. You need lots. Okay. Let's let that cook a bit more. Shall we give some spice to this one? Do you want to do that one? Okay. Excellent. Can you smell your... I love rose. Yeah, I love rosemary. Okay.
I like basil.
So for time constraints here, we are going to, it'll cook. This will take like 30 minutes to cook like this with the raw meat. I like crushed tomatoes, but I'll have to add some. For this amount of tomato or meat, I probably could have did with another can of tomatoes, but that's okay. I'm going to rinse this out to make sure I'm not wasting any. I'll rinse it out and we'll just add some water to this. So I rinsed the can out. Now I'll just do it to the consistency of sauce. Okay, so we know that there's diced tomatoes. I could have used diced tomatoes in here. I use crushed personally because my kids don't like diced. It's a choice.
I use diced for my lasagna.
Okay,
Yeah.
so depending.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
like diced, yeah.
So depending what you're making, you can change the tomatoes up. So we'll just use the bowl that we had the mirepoix in, the vegetables, and we'll just make some meatballs. Show you how quick and simple. Remember at the store we bought a mix of ground pork. Is the bowl too small? Do you want to put some of that back in here so we can get the pork in there? I like the taste of having it mixed. You can use ground chicken. You can make meatballs with ground turkey if you want. We'll let you do the meat. Add an egg. Oh, my favorite, Worcestershire sauce. You know, I can put that in everything. Give it a good... Yeah. I can use lots.
Yeah.
Yes. Once it's cooked, honestly, you'll see.
You say when.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Let's see how well you can mix it in that. You can add whatever spices you want. Add your cumin, your chili powder, if you want more of a Mexican flavor. I could have added the Italian, some oregano, basil if I want the Italian flavor. Just go plain with a good old Worcestershire sauce. Now how's that forming? Feels good?
Yep.
Okay. So meatballs, what I like to do is on a tray, put the parchment paper down, roll the meatballs, put it on the parchment, stick it in an oven at 350, 370, more 375, and cook them on until they're done. That takes like maybe 20 minutes to cook it like that. Because the heat's all around, it makes it really nice. It keeps it nice and juicy on the inside. Okay, so form a bite, like a, not too big. How big do you want your meatballs? Is that a good size meatball for you?
That's a pretty good.
That's a good size. So there's your meatball, put it on a tray, but we're going to show you how to do meatloaf instead. So we have the meat sauce on the back cooking. We have the mirepoix, the mix, vegetable mix cooking. We showed you how you can do a meatball just with the pork and the beef. Now to make the mini meatloaves, where you can add the mirepoix to this, like add some celery, some carrots, some diced red pepper if you want, whatever vegetables you want, add it to this. Whatever seasonings you want, add it to it, okay?
Yep.
But we aren't, okay. You like more plain taste maybe, eh? Some people do.
Some people do.
So just flatten it a bit. Yeah, that's good, excellent. And then we'll put a sauce on top to give it a bit more taste. So to recap, Morris did a mixture of pork and beef, ground beef.
Crumbs.
The
And an
crumbs, yep, and an egg, thank you. And then just put it in as a meatball and squished it down. And then with your brown, well, no, I didn't have brown sugar. You can add some honey or brown sugar to the mix, but ketchup is sweet. Ketchup, mustard, and I added some Worcestershire and just made a paste to put it on top. And now this is ready to go in the oven. Nice thing with this is there's your portion size, right? And then once it's cooked and cooled, you can freeze it and just pull it out as need be. So for 1, for 2, for 4, for 8. Okay, options. Now I see that the mirepoix is ready, so I'll pull that over for you. So again, the mirepoix is just the mix of onions, celery, and carrots.
Garlic.
Now we're going to show you, and hopefully this will be easy for you to follow along. We're going to show you how to make quiche, vegetarian, so using the mirepoix that's cooked, and then using the leftover. This is warm right now, but say you pull it out tomorrow, it's been in the fridge, it's cooled off, you don't know what to do with it, this is an option. Mini shepherd's pie. Now I know shepherd's pie, as you said, has what in it?
Corn and potatoes.
Corn and potatoes.
Yeah, mashed potatoes on top.
So I could add some frozen corn to this mix and peas, whatever you'd like. I didn't have potatoes, but I had a rutabaga that was getting soft, so I boiled it the same way as I would potatoes, and I added some Parmesan to it to make it taste, give it a nice taste. So I'll put that on top, okay? So if you'd like to do the, or would you, you know what, let's do this first. So the quiche is, it's 1 egg to a cup of milk, and again, the good old Worcestershire sauce. So give it a good, okay, Yeah, as you can tell, I don't measure that one. Where's the cup? So a cup. So that's ready to go. So put, well, these are so small that you can only put a little bit because we're adding some cheese and then the egg mixture will go. Okay, and I'll do the meat side. So we've put the vegetarian mixture in there. Morris is going to add some cheese to that, and then the egg. I'm adding on top of this meat mixture the rutabaga. This would be great to get the kids involved. You want to get the kids cooking? Leftovers, yeah, use up your leftovers. Or again, say on the weekend, if you know that you're busy during the week, on the weekend, get all of this done. Take an afternoon and just do this. As you can see, it's fairly quick. And I know there's 2 of us, but just even on your own. Get the prep ready. Great way of using up leftover mashed potatoes, leftover meat sauce, or whatever type of filling you have at home. Excellent. Yep. Now fill it. Oh, I missed one. Now fill it, not quite full because it'll, yeah, rise. I'll scrape the pan later. And we'll put this in the oven. Now this will take a little longer because you want the dough to cook. So it could take about 40 minutes, get nice and brown. What we could have did to make it go quicker was with the pastry, just poke it with the fork a little bit so that it won't rise. Stick it in the oven, cook it for say 10 minutes, not quite 10, maybe 7 minutes. Partially cook it and then you can fill it. So we've taken the food out of the oven. This is our mini meatloaf with the sauce on top, our mini shepherd's pie with the rutabaga on top, and then our mini vegetarian quiches along with our spaghetti sauce. And the spaghetti sauce looks a little different than it might at home. 1, because we cooked it with crushed tomatoes, and 2, we did the raw meat right in it and cooked it, and this is what it looks like. So let that cool in the fridge, you take it out the next day, and this is what you could do with it. So as Morris tries the mini meatball.
Very good.
Very good.
The way I like it.
So he doesn't like as much spice in it. He likes the sauce on the top, so you can even add more sauce if that's what you like. Yep. And if you want more punch to it, you can add some vegetables to it and more spice. Design by taste, that's what it's all about. So you design it the way you would like to enjoy it. Would you like to try? Now, if you have any other ideas that you'd like for the next show, or some input, or if you'd like more of the ingredients list, or some ideas as to what you can do with this, like say the mirepoix, the carrots, the onion, the celery, I would grab some leftover rice and make a fried rice with it. You just add some soy sauce and a little bit of sesame oil to it, and there's your fried rice. Maybe add an egg. Okay, so join me on Facebook, Design by Taste. And I want to thank Morris for coming here. This has been a pleasure. Thank you. And to the RFDA for hosting us, and Westfort Foods for donating this food. And I have to say, for all of this, it was $33. And I haven't even used up all the ingredients that we had. So there's no excuse to saying that we can't afford to eat healthy. We just proved it, that you can design a life through great tasting food. Thank you for watching. See you next time.